Fight fans all over the world, it's Daddy Pete with Slap Happy Gorilla. What? Slap Happy Gorilla back at you, man. Listen, Errol Spence, Terence Crawford. I promised you guys that I would do a Terence Crawford piece. I did an Errol Spence one already. I'm glad I kind of waited because I got a chance to see some things, particular, man, this Fight Hub piece that was done with different trainers. It had Kell Brook, Sean Porter, then it had Virgil Hunter and Stephen Breadman Edwards, man. It was a real good, I guess you'll say almost like a round table type of deal with those guys breaking down the Terence Crawford Errol Spence fight. But man, y'all already know July the 29th cannot come fast enough. T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas. Man, look, man, this thing is electric already. It's in the air. And, a lot of back and forth going on about these particular two boxers, man. You got a lot of people that's slinging mud. And, man, look, but these are two good boxers that's going to meet in the ring. And, man, this is one of the best fights. Plenty of people talking about it. One of the best fights in 40 years, man. And it's because of not just the competitive nature, but what's on the line. These guys are in their prime. These guys are both undefeated, and they are fighting for undisputed. Listen, a lot of people go back and forth about the resume of these guys. I'm not going to do it. I like Terence Crawford. I like Errol Spence July. I like both guys. I'm not a fanboy of either guy. I am a fan of the sport of boxing. And listen, I just want to see a good fight. Now, I do have a pick as to who I believe is going to win, but that don't mean that I'm a fanboy of either guy. That's just who I particularly believe will win the fight. I will reveal that as we get closer, probably the eve of the fight, after the weigh-in. I want to see what the weigh-in is like. But anyway, Terence Crawford, man, look, I will admit this is not a thing for me. Errol Spence has faced the better competition at welterweight. Listen. Now, yes, I do admit that, but hey, I'm going to say this, man. The best wins that Errol Spence have at welterweight, Terence Crawford, to me, he would have whipped them too, And then I'm going to break down the best. Listen, the best win that Errol Spence has on his resume is Kell Brook, under the conditions that he fought Kell Brook. And then after that, you'll say what? Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, all of the rest of those guys that he beat at welterweight, hands down, Terence Crawford will beat him. So, Kell Brook, Terence Crawford actually beat him, but it was a different Kell Brook than what, that faced Errol Spence July, So, but anyway, Sean Porter got the best of Kell Brook before he even went up to fight Triple G. Kell Brook beat Sean Porter, So, Sean Porter fought the best, to me, the best Kell Brook. He hadn't been damaged goods at all, but he lost to him. It was a close fight, but Sean Porter has fought both guys. I'm not trying to create a triangle theory here, but all I'm saying is, man, look, the best that Errol Spence has faced, the best that Terence Crawford has faced, the best win at welterweight on Terence Crawford's resume is Sean Porter. And the best to me on Errol Spence is Kell Brook. And, if you link all of these guys together, man, look, the three top fighters in the division before Errol Spence or Terence Crawford came to prominence in the division was Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, and Danny Garcia. Errol Spence fought two of the three. He fought Danny Garcia and Sean Porter. And Terence Crawford fought one of them. Now, those three fights, the fights that took place between those three fighters, man, all of them were close. I believe those guys are very evenly matched. if you put Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, and Sean Porter, any of those guys, if you put any two of them in the ring at any given time and let them fight 5 times, it will be 3-2 either way to me. Because none of those guys was able to really dominate and separate themselves from each other. But it brings me to this point. Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford are the best welterweights, hand down, and are head and shoulders above any competition of their era. Now, I'm excluding Ortiz and Ennis because they are not in the same era. You know what I'm saying? But any welterweight in the era of Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford, man, those guys are head and shoulders above the competition. So, and what I mean by that, like when Errol Spence fought Sean Porter, he separated himself in a way that it wasn't a close enough fight to say it was a controversy. You know what I'm saying? When Terence Crawford beat Sean Porter, he knocked him out. So, ain't no controversy there. Now, what only controversy you could say is that his dad stopped the fight prematurely. Maybe. Yeah, but man, what was about to happen to him, man, who cares? You know, it still was a knockout. So those guys separated themselves. But the three, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, and Sean Porter, those three were too evenly matched. So, I mean, and those were the top 3 for the division at that time. And Errol Spence and Terence Crawford are head and shoulders above them. Like I said, the better guy that fought between all of those guys, the better fight was the Kell Brook that fought Sean Porter. And Errol Spence got the closest to that version. So, I mean, all of the other welterweights, even on Spence's resume, are not guys that you will argue that couldn't beat Terence Crawford. You know, like Lamont Peterson. The Lamont Peterson that Errol Spence beat, Terence Crawford hands down would have beat him. You know what I'm saying? You know, so you can pick any of the guys on Spence's resume that are outside of Danny Garcia and Sean Porter, any of the, you know, Kell Brook. Outside of those guys, man, look, the competition was just like the competition that's on Terence Crawford's resume anyway. So, I mean, I'm not going to go back and forth about it. I admit, yes, Errol has the best resume at welterweight. But I really do believe that Terence Crawford will beat any of those guys as well, hands down. Probably knock them out. But, I mean, who knows? It's still the same. We back at square one. Terence Crawford has not faced the level of competition that Errol Spence has, but his skill level is high above everybody at welterweight besides Errol Spence. So that's why this fight is that much more intriguing. You know what I'm saying? Because we know undoubtedly that we got the 2 best welterweights of their era. So it's really not an argument. Like when we see people, I see people going back and forth about this. Man, there's really not nothing to argue about. We back at square one. Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, the best that the welterweight division has to offer. We are getting that, and they both are still in their prime. You know what I'm saying? So the thing about this video that I really wanted to bring out, I'm glad that I got a chance to see this Fight Hub round table that had the 2 of the people that I was talking about, Sean Porter and Kell Brook. They were breaking down the fight along with 2 of the best trainers in the world, Virgil Hunter and Stephen Breadman Edwards. And the reason why I'm going to put that in the description, or I'll put it in the comments. If I forget to put it in the description, I definitely will pin it in the comments. So check it out, man, if you want to check that out. If you haven't seen it, man, check it out. It's a real good breakdown, probably the best that I've seen so far of this fight. But anyway, I really wanted to bring out the IQ of Terence Crawford, because I think that's what separates him from all the other welterweights besides Errol Spence. what separates Terence Crawford is his IQ. And when he fought Sean Porter, everybody's seen it, and that's the video that I have on the loop. Between round number 9 and round number 10, when Crawford was sitting on his stool in the corner, he was talking to someone at the booth, and he was telling them, like, I'm up. He was really asking the question, I'm up, and they was like, no, Sean is up. They're like, he up. And he was like, how? But when he found out, he was like, man, he told Bomac, they say he up. So what ended up happening is Terence Crawford finds out that he could be down in the fight. And I know everybody saw this. I'm not claiming like I'm the first one to notice this. Matter of fact, the first person that I seen had it up on YouTube was Boxing Ego. Shout out to Ego. And then also I seen it other places, even on YouTube Shorts. And the place where I got it from that's on the loop on this video, I think it was Sky Sports. But anyway, what ended up happening, man, Terence Crawford got off the stool between round 9 and 10, and we all know round 10 is when the fight actually ended. Kenny Porter threw in the towel, but Terence Crawford came out immediately. When he found out that he could be down in this fight, he stepped to Sean Porter. He was looking for a reaction. He got it, and he dropped him immediately. Now, Sean Porter got up. He did the same thing again and dropped him again. Kenny Porter knew what was about to happen, because when you see the preciseness, now all fight, it was 9 rounds before that happened. And it's like, really, Terence Crawford, hindsight is 2020. Terence Crawford was toying with Sean Porter. Some rounds, Sean Porter really was getting the best of Terence Crawford. There was a few rounds that Terence Crawford, you could say, yeah, he won them. But a lot of people felt that Sean Porter was up in this fight. But when Terence Crawford found out that he could be down, it was no more games being played. He immediately went out and he started stepping to Sean Porter. Now, the reason why I say his IQ is what separates him is because with the precision that he has, he went straight out and straight at Sean Porter and got the stoppage. He went out in that round and he dropped him almost immediately. He started stepping to him. He kind of set a trap for him. He was waiting on the reaction. He got that reaction and dropped him. And he had been downloading, computing, whatever you want to call it, in his mind, all of the habits of Sean Porter throughout them rounds that he already was fighting in. And he knew what he needed to do to get the job done, and he did it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, just that type of IQ alone, just to say that, man, Sean Porter is one of the best welterweights of the era. He went out and took advantage of one of the best welterweights of his era, and he got him down. He handled business immediately. And now, the reason why this is so intriguing to me, like I say, the best that the welterweight has to offer was Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, and Danny Garcia. You know, Kell Brooks was damaged goods, and you know, both of those guys, Errol Spence beat him, and Terence Crawford beat him. But Sean Porter was the last guy that was left that was the best of the division, that was still in decent shape. You know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford took complete advantage of him when he wanted to. And, you know, the reason why I really give Crawford props for this is for something that Breadman Edwards alluded to in the breakdown that he had of the fight. And he was talking about Terence Crawford. And I hear a lot of people say that it's important that Terence Crawford starts faster than he normally does. And a lot of people say that because, yeah, Terence Crawford is a slow starter. But something Breadman Edwards said, and it made a lot of sense. He explained himself. That's why I really want you guys to take a look at this video. Is Breadman Edwards, he's one of the best to ever do it. And not only is he a great coach, but he's in love with the sport of boxing, and he's a student of the game. So when he looks at things, he looks at them not only from a coach's point of view, but from things that he's seen throughout history. He's seen a lot of fights. He's seen a lot of trainings, how these fighters train for fights. So he knows the game of boxing. And like I say, he's a student of the game. But what he said was, it's more important for Errol Spence to start faster than Terence Crawford. And he explained himself by saying this. Errol Spence, his whole game is kind of like a snowball effect. He gains momentum as he goes. So it's important that he starts fast and gets off to a good start, because he needs that momentum to continue on in the fight. You know what I'm saying? Because Errol Spence, he gets more and more dominant as the fight goes on. He wears a fighter down, and but he has to have a good start to do that, because he gains momentum as the fight goes on. But on the other hand, Terence Crawford, it's almost like a switch that he hits. At any point in the fight, even if he think he's down, like Terence Crawford could be down from early, and he can hit a switch and go to the next level instantly. And this is something that Breadman Edwards said. Never mind what I think. I'm just a YouTuber, nobody. But this guy is a renowned trainer and a student of the game of boxing. And this is what this man's saying. And man, I'm so glad. That's why I'm saying I'm glad that I got a chance to see that before I did this video. But that's neither here nor there. I really believe that Terence Crawford's IQ is impeccable, second to none in the welterweight division. Does that equal an automatic win for him? No, it's still a lot going on in that fight. Errol Spence obviously is the bigger guy and the stronger guy. A lot of people do underestimate the strength of Terence Crawford, but either way, I mean, Errol Spence is still the bigger and the stronger guy, and he's been at welterweight for his full career, basically. And Terence Crawford, he's jumped up like a couple weight classes. He fought at lightweight, then he fought at junior welterweight, and now he's at welterweight. So he's the naturally smaller guy, you know what I'm saying? And that's to say a lot about both guys gonna, and both these guys gonna come in the best shape of their career, basically. They're not gonna leave any stones unturned. So I mean, where you might have like fights like before Errol Spence fought Mikey Garcia, he said that he used that camp, really was a fat camp, to get some of his weight down, and he really didn't concentrate on technique as much because he had to get the weight off of him. But it's gonna be nothing like that for this fight. These guys took this training camp, very seriously. Now, the only thing that I would say about Errol Spence is his recent inactivity, you know what I'm saying? And the fact that he's, he came off a car accident, then a retina tear, that surgery, all of that to, in consideration. But, a lot of people feel like Terence Crawford, if he gets in a firefight or tries to fight Errol Spence game, that could be to his detriment. And I'm going to tell you this, Terence Crawford is not going to fight Errol Spence like he's fought guys in his past. You know what I'm saying? Especially at welterweight. He mixed it up a little bit with these guys. And some people attribute it to the fact that he's getting older, so he's a little more flat-footed than he's been. But no, Terence Crawford, I really believe he just didn't have the respect for those guys. Like Crawford'S, come on. He just didn't respect him, and he went in, and he got clipped. He got caught, with a couple punches. Same thing with Kell Brook. He just didn't respect him. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that he still does not know how to box. That still doesn't mean that he does not know how to move. It was a lot early in his career, and a lot of people go criticize me for bringing this up. But take a look at when he fought at 140. To me, it was a pivotal fight in his career when he was at 140. When he fought Victor Postol, it's the timing. See, in boxing, I'm a boxing fan, so I pay close attention to some of these things. Boxing is about timing. No matter how you look at it, it is about timing. Like when you fight a person is very important. But when he fought Victor Postol was undefeated, and the aura he had around his name, he was one of the monsters in the division. Not because I'm saying he was, but because the media said he was. And the reason why was, I don't know if you guys remember, when Danny Garcia was at 140, Victor Postol was his mandatory. And he was supposed to fight him, but Danny Garcia he had his eye on going up. He wanted to fight a fight at a catch weight. So he paid Victor Postol step-aside money. Matter of fact, Al Heyman paid Victor Postol step-aside money on the behalf of Danny Garcia, so that Danny Garcia, now this is the part I don't remember. Danny Garcia, it was the fight when he fought Lamont Peterson, or it was when he fought Malignaggi. I can't remember. But I remember he was supposed to be fighting Victor Postol. But when that happened, this gave Victor Postol this aura about himself. Like in the fight game, like a lot of people were saying that Danny Garcia was scared to fight Postol. That's why he didn't want to face him. And this is what really put like that boogeyman image on Victor Postol. You know what I'm saying? And I can remember that. I remember because I felt like Danny Garcia should have fought Victor Postol. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think at all he was scared of it. I just felt he wanted to keep the belts, and at the time he wanted to kind of do some other things at the same time. Come on, man, it's the guy's career. But at the same time, I didn't like the move. I didn't like the fact that he was paying this guy step-aside money. I really thought he should face him, and I think that would have been good for Danny Garcia's legacy. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, by the time Crawford was coming through the rankings, Victor Postol was still undefeated, and this was a championship fight. This was going to unify. This was going to give Terence Crawford that WBC and the WBO, I believe, at the time. And the reason why I like this fight for Crawford is because, in boxing, in guys' career in boxing, it is a maturation process. And, there are certain fights that takes the boxer's career, takes their, for them going to the next level in their career. I believe they really do need like a certain level of confidence. You know what I'm saying? And there's certain fights that give them confidence to go to the next level. And I think that this fight against Victor Postol is what did it for Crawford at the time when he took it. Because it was still a little bit of aura around Victor Postol's name that said he was a monster. And this was one of the tests that was supposed to be, if Crawford beat him, then now I really believe that he is, you know what I'm saying, the guy for the division. And Crawford, because of this guy had this aura about himself, Crawford went in there different. He didn't just go in there and try to knock Victor Postol out. he fought a little bit more conservative. You know what I'm saying? He used a lot of lateral movement. He boxed when he wanted to, and he got in like little fights when he wanted to. But he picked and chose his battles in that fight. And that's why I say he fought a little more conservative. I think he could have knocked Victor Poster out, but he fought a little more conservative than he was fighting, and he was used to fighting. And he did get 2 knockdowns in the fight, but that particular fight, it was like an arrival thing for Terence Crawford. It boosted his confidence for him to go to the next level in his career at that time, and that's why I brought it up. And also because, you know, it just lets you know that Crawford can box when he wants to box, when he chooses to box. And I really believe he's gonna be a little more conservative, at least coming out. You know what I'm saying? With Errol Spence, he's gonna try to dictate more, less, like when he fights and when he boxes. He's not gonna just come out and not respect Errol Spence and get hit by some of the shots like he got hit by Kavalauskas, that he got hit by Kell Brook. You know what I'm saying? I really don't believe that he's going to come out and absorb that type of punishment. I think he's going to use more of his skills like lateral movement and, you know, more boxing skills to me. But anyway, man, I still cannot wait to see this fight. I'm gonna put that link in the description, or look for it in the comment section for you to look at that video. It's a very good video. Check it out. It was a Fight Hub. This is Daddy P. Go ahead and slap that like button for me. Hit the bell icon, and hey, subscribe to the channel. But hit that bell icon so you can be notified every time it go down. This Daddy P signing out.